Bad day for the left. Mark Levin laid out exactly what it is that they want and exactly how they're going to try to get it. Y'all like the video right here. Follow for more updates. Check this one out.
Believe it or not, I'm lying in bed for 2.5 months because I tore my tendon. And I'm starting to think about these things. You know, people think about other things. And I was thinking, I think we have this whole founding thing a little wrong. We talk about liberty and we talk about all that, but liberty without rights means nothing. And rights without power means nothing. 1936, Stalin's Constitution is really one of the greatest constitutions ever written, but it meant nothing. It talks about liberty, it talks about rights, talks about equality, very much like Mamdani and the rest of these people. So I got to thinking about power. And then I got to break it down. Negative power, positive power, soft negative power, soft positive power, to try and use the ancients like Aristotle and Cicero, try to use American history and try and bring it to today. Because this whole idea of American Marxism, or what they call themselves, democratic socialists,
oh God,
it's starting to take hold. And we got to figure out a way to fight this. And the way to fight it is you have to compare something with something. And so what they do is they look for imperfections in capitalism, imperfections in man, and they exist. Man's not perfect. And they exploit them. They exploit them with slogans. They exploit them with promises. They exploit them. And my view is, let's bring them back to reality and deal with what they're actually doing.
Also, it's hard to tell the American people stuff that they were born with and they're used to, that this doesn't happen all the time. And it's hard to, like, you have to tell the founding fathers how important this was. But as we get further and further away from that, people just take for granted what we have. So here's an example of positive power, because you break it down very specific. You say positive power starts from an altogether different premise than negative power. God is the sovereign, and through God, his children, and that is the individual and the people, are sovereign. Thus, power properly understood and exercised is the context of government. It's about the well-being of the people, not the rulers. The people are the sovereign, not the governing authority. And importantly, the belief in God-given eternal truths, natural law, and unalienable rights is the basis of moral and virtuous society that transcends any ruling class. This is one way of saying the government is not more important than the people. The people are in charge. And when they aren't in charge, that's when you have a dictatorship, which is almost every other government before we came around.
Look at our own country. What do we deal with? The Democrat Party, Mamdani, Sanders, AOC, the rest of these people. What do they fight over? They want to control, the centralization of power. They hate the people who founded this country. They attack the founding of this country, the 1619 Project, CRT, whatever it is, because they're attacking the society. They're attacking the whole notion of the American experiment. What I'm trying to explain there is you will never hear these people talk about God or faith. You will never hear them talk about the Enlightenment. And my view is the nation was founded on the view of Judeo-Christian values fused with the Enlightenment. That is, power checks power. That's our framers paid attention to Montesquieu and some of these great Enlightenment philosophers. Power checks power. That's the Constitution. Does that sound like these people that say they want to take over the grocery stores? They want to take over the market systems. Why do they attack capitalism? Because capitalism, the government doesn't control. They want to control. Capitalism, they say they want to get rid of billionaires. Why? What do I care if there's a billionaire down the street? How does that affect me? We live, the average person, the plumber, the electrician, the truck driver, lives better today than any king or queen lived 100 years ago. And so I say, let's step back. What do these people really want? They don't care about the people. If they cared about the people, they would have secured the border. If they care about the people, they would back the cops. If they cared about the people, they wouldn't spend us into debt. They don't care about the people.
The founding fathers went to school on history and decided to put together this government. I thought with Thomas Paine, and you pulled this excerpt out, said great, because the cause of America is the cause for all mankind. Guys, this is bigger than just us. We get this right, other countries will follow, and they did. Here's an example of negative power. Negative power is power that is exercised by force or other less obvious, as you mentioned, coercive means. Amongst its purposes is to limit individual identity, sovereignty, and liberty in its most aggressive form. And when exercised by a faction, a cabal, or a government, both autocratic and authoritarian, Or, for example, communist regimes, fascists, the people are treated as servants to the proclaimed cause and those exercising power rather than the other way around. Its purpose is to devour and control society, not sever it. Consequently, it must denude individuals of their free will, self-worth, aspirations, development, and progress, and human spirit, and control the societal generally through the exercise of concentrated, centralized, unchallenged, ubiquitous power. The goal is to create vigorous followers and fanatics for the cause and the regime, not a healthy, robust society of self-sufficient, curious, free-thinking, independent human beings. How fortuitous to explain your book that while I'm reading it, Mamdani wins the primary. And he is saying the things. He's not even covering his tracks. I was taken out of context. Saying the things that you were talking about that we should worry about.
Right.
And not to be a self-promoter, if you read the book, you'll better understand what he's doing and better understand how to confront it and unravel it. This guy is a Svengali. He's a propagandist. He's a demagogue in a long line of demagogues. He's 33 years old. Castro was 29 when he took over Cuba. He doesn't know a damn thing about a damn thing. But what he does know is how to sloganeer. What he does know is how to say things that draw people's attention. For instance, he talks about affordability. What's he going to do about affordability? He's going to destroy jobs. He's going to chase the job creators out. What does redistribution of wealth do? It destroys wealth creation. People create wealth. They're not going to say, okay, take my wealth and redistribute.
Countless examples of this.
Countless examples of it in other countries, in our own country. This guy is a fraud. He's a phony. But what they do is they look for, it's expensive in New York. Now, they don't tell you why. I mean, rent control drives up the price of everything else. Democrats have driven up taxes. You got regulations through the wazoo. You got all kinds of things going on from the Democrat left side, and they say, I'm going to fix it. They never fix anything. And what's at stake is your liberty, your representative government. The more the government controls, that's who they view as the sovereign. You have to change, the individual. They don't have to change.
A couple of things just that I learned. It's really important to compare Hamilton and Jefferson, because their philosophy is different. And You Overcome Hamilton, it's a great musical.
Did you like how I covered that?
I loved how you covered that. It's a great musical, but I take the Jefferson message any day. Also, Woodrow Wilson, the more you look at what he did and his villainous place in history, I think he really hurt this country.
Woodrow Wilson is one of the original American Marxists. In the late 1800s into the 1900s, he was one of the intellectuals. He's president of Princeton. Who pushed this whole American Marxist idea. He rejected the Declaration. Marx attacked the Declaration. None of them ever talk about the Declaration. When Obama talked about the Declaration, he took God out of there. People need to understand they're at war with the Constitution, even though they wave it around. They never talk about the Declaration of Independence. They do not believe in individual liberty. They do not believe in free will. That's why they hate capitalism.
And FDR had some Marxist tendencies when he had his second Bill of Rights rolling out.
100%. That second Bill of Rights basically mimicked Stalin's 1936 Constitution.